2024's The Wild Robot was directed by animation veteran and master Mr. Chris Sanders. This DreamWorks feature is visually dazzling, overflowing with heart, and it has so much to say through a wonderfully clear and creative vision. The ever-changing physicality and functionality of Roz the Robot, voiced by the exceedingly talented Lupita Nyong'o, is captivating. The island landscapes are gorgeously depicted. The shot composition is perpetually spectacular. In general, this picture looks bloody incredible through and through. It also deals in a number of concepts and lessons, delivered with a great amount of effectiveness and intelligence, some of them overlapping with others. Unity, and just how much of it is truly attainable, and the power of community, the struggles of parenthood, both raising a child, then ultimately letting them go, accepting and embracing one's differences, technology versus the wilderness, and all of the substantial material, which is impressively organically implemented, very much appeals to both youngsters and older folk. Of course, unity and community are about combining our various strengths, helping one's neighbor, regardless of any potential differences, thereby building a stronger collective. This is a concept prevalent throughout the entirety of the narrative, though it truly pays off in the film's climax. Certainly many blockbusters can eventually devolve into mindless fighting and fireworks, and although we're given a big action scene nearing film's end, the material is compelling and anything but mindless. Throughout the tale, Roz learns multiple species-centric lessons from her wild friends. She learns from the pack of possum kids how to play dead, and from a skunk how to release internal green gases. Both tricks are utilized at various points in the Big Island battle in order to combat the enemy robots. My only minor climactic nitpick is that I would have loved to see just a few more seconds of the badassery that is a giant, wickedly animated grizzly bear, voiced by Luke Skywalker, beating the out of laser blasting robots, backed by a burning forest. Now, Mother Possum, voiced by the wonderful Catherine O'Hara, teaches Roz about the improvisational, unprogrammable components of motherhood, while Thunderbolt the Eagle not only helps greatly in Bright Bill ultimately joining Longneck's migration crew, he also reminds the youngster that the word difference is not synonymous with the word weakness. Pedro Pascal's Fink the Fox actually sums up this idea of embracing your individuality with a few simple but wise words. Before Bright Bill takes off from his mother's arm to join his fellow geese, the fox says to him, "Don't fly like them, fly like you." This advice is given during one of the picture's most beautiful scenes. Even if you were to remove the context and subtext of this magnificent moment, that Mama Robot who has raised young Bright Bill since his kind of chaotic birth is about to send him off on his own. The marriage between the visuals and wonderful musical score, whilst a robot amongst a humongous gaggling of geese racing toward cliff's edge on its own, made me glassy-eyed, and then some. Then there's the sensational snowstorm scene, in which Roz not only saves every possible species of animal, who at this point in the tale viewed her as a monster, she brings them into her warm home. And mind you, predator and prey are cooped up within this relatively small space. So it is such a simple and beautiful sentiment when Roz pleads with her fighting guests to end their conflicts just until the snowy season lets up. What follows is a lovely, adorable scene in which animals, no matter the species or size, cuddle up to one another for warmth and comfort. Lazy exposition can be a bit of a distracting downside when it comes to many a film. Quite the opposite with The Wild Robot. We're instantly and intensely and literally thrown into the story. The flick opens via Roz's perspective as she's falling through the clouds, ultimately ending up on the shore of an island. We, the audience, spend a decent amount of the runtime kind of inferring, in part through Roz's initially corporate formal dialogue and demeanor. Her backstory before her true past is gradually and sporadically doled out throughout the remainder of the picture. We eventually learn via a newly assembled robot, initially discovered broken on the shore's projection, a bit of a background of the company Universal Dynamics, with a kind of tutorial on the organization's line of helper robots being depicted later in the flick, alongside the news that Roz was part of a robot-filled shipment that was fucked up in the midst of a terrible typhoon. This film was adorable, it's charming, it's gorgeous looking, it is packed with meaningful, quite universal lessons, and it's backed by a lovely score. Viewing The Wild Robot at the cinema was a lovely experience, which practically had me grinning from the first to the final heart-filled frame.